Good morning, everybody. What's going on? What's going on? This is Leonard Miles, aka 2 Degrees in the CDL. And you already know how we do. We come live with the news, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This topic is definitely interesting. I'll let you all determine how you view it. Some people may like it, some people may dislike it. But let's get right into it. Biden administration rolls out power grid plan for electric trucks. Container ports, freight heavy interstates lead off 16-year battery charging strategy. So let's get into it. This from 6 days ago. Shout out to Freight Waves. So let's get into it. The Biden administration has selected 12,000 miles of freight heavy interstates and the country's largest container ports to begin a 16-year plan to deploy battery charging and hydrogen refueling stations for electric trucks. The four-phase national zero-emission freight corridor strategy, unveiled Tuesday, initially targets local and regional return-to-base trucking operations, first and last mile delivery, and port drayage, while gradually accommodating long-haul trucking. A core objective of the strategy, detailed in a 300-page document developed by the U.S. Department of Energy and Transportation and the Environmental Protection Agency, is to meet freight, truck, and technology markets where they are today, determine where they are likely to develop next, and set an ambitious pathway that mobilizes actions to achieve decarbonization, according to the Federal Highway Administration. In conjunction with the charging strategy, FHWA also announced on Tuesday that it has designated the agency's National Highway Freight Network, NHFN, along with roadways in several states as the National EV Freight Corridors Network. The National EV Strategy and the Corridors Network align with the administration's goal to promote at least 30% zero-emission medium and heavy-duty truck sales by 2030 and 100% by 2040. Medium and heavy-duty trucks in our current freight network contribute approximately 23% of greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S. transportation sector, commented FHWA Administrator Shaylin Bott. These new designations and strategy will help to grow our national EV charging network, encourage clean commerce with the freight community, and support President Biden's goal of achieving net zero emissions for the nation at 2050. And as you all can see, you can take a look at this, the infrastructure phase on, what they plan on doing. Basically, they totally electric. They want to go totally electric, with all local, regional, and OTR. So yeah, you all can just check out those numbers. It shows you the amount of miles that the batteries will be good for. Still a lot of unanswered things, but let's continue the article. The strategy aims to accelerate adoption of battery electric and fuel cell electric trucks by focusing initially on freight hubs with a 100-mile transport radius and moving toward a complete network in 4 phases. Establishing priority hubs based on freight volumes. This is from 2024 through 2027. Connect hubs along critical freight corridors, 2027 to 2030. Expand corridor connections, initiating network development, 2030 through 2035. And achieve full access to national network by linking regional corridors, 2035 to 2040. Phase 1 targets 12,000 miles of interstate, 23% of the NHFN, including interstates 5, 10, 25, 75, 80, 95, and the Texas Triangle, including interstates 10, 45, and 35. Zero-emission truck hubs in Phase 1 also include 100-mile freight ecosystems centered around major container ports, including the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, the Port Authority of New York, in New Jersey, the ports of Seattle and Tacoma, Washington, the Port of Miami, the Houston Port Authority, and the Port of Savannah, Georgia. In phase 2, non-tractor trailer truck, classes 4 through 6, straight delivery trucks. Activity likely remains battery EV dominant, with early introduction of hydrogen fuel cell electric truck technology for longer distance travel, according to the strategy. Operations expand with increased regional goods distribution, the port drayage, and initial deployments of long-haul transportation. Phase 4. In phase 4, the strategy expands from intermodal hubs and port facilities to include truck parking facilities, which will increasingly service zero-emission trucks across all use cases, the strategy states. A fully integrated transportation energy system will be essential to supporting use cases across all vehicle classes and duty cycles, allowing for local, regional, and long-haul transportation of goods and services. Okay. So they're starting at the ports first. And the only port, like I said, of course, I'm familiar with all these ports, but being from Georgia, definitely familiar with the ports down there in Savannah. That's what they call a seaport. Shout out to my people down there in Chatham County. This is, I always said about the whole electric trucks. I always have conversations with people about this, and I still stand on this, to the end of the, I still stand on this statement, companies that can afford, going totally electric, majority like your mega carriers, if they choose to, they'll do so. And if you can't afford it, then you just continue to go diesel. I don't think that diesel is going to go completely out the way. I know California is starting off first, with, basically, I guess you can call it going green or going totally electric when it comes to all their vehicles. And that's fine, Cali's going to do what's best for Cali, but I don't feel like that's going to impact the rest of the country and, what other states decide to do. It's a plan, but, if the state doesn't enforce it, then what do you do? It's just so many questions, when it comes to this, and that's why I say, you have to just continue to just watch and let things play out the way that they're going to be going. Even with the charging stations, the batteries, and it already costs, to repair a regular diesel truck. What's the repair cost, for going, totally electric? So many computers you got to bypass. So it's so many different things. It's pros and cons to each. It's pros and cons to having diesel trucks. It's pros and cons to electric vehicles. I just think about it at the end of the day, as a business owner, you're going to do what's best for you. But it's interesting to keep up with these topics, especially seeing that, all right, the first thing that they're going to be doing is, focusing on the ports, because it's so much. I never, did any intermodal work. So shout out to all the intermodal drivers, but I definitely want to know how you all think about this. What do you all feel? Because this is the first line of trucking that they're coming to first, the intermodal field. So all my port drivers, what do you think about this? Like, if you're working on these ports like Port of Savannah or Port of Miami or the Houston port, like, have they told you all about these plans as far as the electric trucks coming in? If so, what do you all think about it? But just let me know what you all think about this article. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate the support as always. Like I said, this was just an interesting topic because I know you got people who've never driven trucks before making rules and changes for us truck drivers. And I know going totally electric is definitely one of those things that they really want to do. So you all let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you share the video. And like I said, as always, driver, just be safe and keep it in the middle of the road. And until next time, I'm out.